Well, everyone, happy Radhashtami to all of you. It's never too late to say happy Radhashtami. Only at 12:01 tonight. Let's see what happens before then. Well, I think one thing that's meant to happen. Are you going to sing or what? Oh, thank you. Happy Radhashtami. Kya ho raha hai? Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Shri Giri Govardhan Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu Ke Jai. You're gonna sit there, is it? Sorry?
Finance.
5, 10, 15, 20. But are you okay there? You look like you might not be comfortable. Are you comfortable there?
Not really.
Oh, come on. Go sit over there. Oh, bring his chairs. Bring his chairs. Incidentally, this is Ravindra Swarup Prabhu. He's going to lead a little kirtan before we start. I mean, all the kirtan that's been going on has been so nice. It's amazing. It's wonderful. Let's see what Ravindra Swarup Prabhu can do. But you all can also continue after.
Chiradabadava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Gopichanavanava Girivardhari Gopichanavanava Girivardhari
Hare Krishna.
Yashodhana Dana Brajara Jada Yashodhana Dana Brajara Jada Yamuna Tira Vanashari Yamuna Tira Vanashari Iradhabadava Kujabihari Gopijanavalabha Girivardhanari Yashodhana Dada Brajajadara Jada Yamuna Tira Radhashtami Radhashtami Kujabihari Gopijanavalabha Girivardhanari Yashodhana Dada Brajajadara Jada Yamuna Tira Radhashtami Radhabadava Kujabihari Gopijanavalabha Girivardhanari Yashodhana Dada Brajajadara Jada Yamuna Tira Radhashtami Yamuna Tira Radhashtami Yamuna Tira Radhashtami Yamuna Tira Radhashtami Srila Prabhupada ki.
Thank you. Okay, that's okay. Haribol. Is it on loud enough? I don't know. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The other one's better, is it?
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Thank you. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, devotees, it's been such a nice Radhashtami program, nicest I've seen, I think. Biggest, I don't know, but biggest I've seen, at least, put it that way. So it's just really wonderful. Really, really wonderful. And I will begin by reading a verse which appears in Srila Prabhupada's Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, chapter 4, verse 83. And I've mentioned a couple of times already today that if you want to sort of explore the subject of Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna and their relationship, then if you read the 4th chapter of Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, this is the best. Shri Radharatna Shri Giri Govardhan Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Yes, it's very authoritative because it has Prabhupada's translated it and he's given the purports, but it's very deep and it's just really, really wonderful. But anyway, I'll read one verse at this point from that particular chapter. It's verse 83. And this very beautiful verse. Devi Krishna Mai Prokta Radhika Paradevata Sarva Lakshmi Mai Sarva Kanti Sammohini Para. Translation. The transcendental goddess, Srimati Radharani, is the direct counterpart of Lord Sri Krishna. She is the central figure for all the goddesses of fortune. She possesses all the attractiveness to attract the all-attractive personality of Godhead. She is the primeval internal potency of the Lord. That's very amazing verse. Wonderful verse. She possesses all the attractiveness to attract the all-attractive personality of Godhead. Yes, so we did mention this morning, some of you were probably here, that when you come across a statement like this at the end of this verse, that she, Srimati Radharani, is the primeval internal potency of the Lord. Yes, well, certainly, she's certainly part of it. The sort of the chief goddess is Yoga Maya, who is overseeing all the aspects of the internal potency of the Lord. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Radharani is the Ananda part specifically, but there's the Sat, the eternity part, Chit, the consciousness, knowledge part as well. But here she's referred to as the primeval internal potency of the Lord. The thing is that the internal potency is there, the eternity is there, the consciousness, the knowledge, the Sat and Chit features, but really they're all serving and facilitating the Ananda feature, the blissful feature. They're all there really to facilitate Lord Krishna's enjoyment, which means, it means his relationship with Srimati Radharani. Yes, otherwise, the eternity is there as sort of a backdrop, and consciousness, knowledge is there, of course, in different respects. But Lord Krishna is not so worried or concerned about the eternity. It's just there, it's eternal. And the consciousness, he's conscious, everyone's conscious, but what he's really concerned about, what he's really interested in, is the happiness, the enjoyment, the bliss of the transcendental pastimes, particularly with Srimati Radharani. So in that context, certainly, she can be taken to be the primeval internal potency of the Lord. Such a very important person, practically of unparalleled importance out of all the different people who are involved in this way or that with Lord Krishna. And here's a nice little story. I'm sure a number of you have heard this before. I mean, many of you have been around so long, you've heard all the stories. And can I tell you a story you haven't heard? Well, I'll try, actually. But anyway, this one, I assume you've heard, but it's very simple and it's very nice. And it involves Srila Prabhupada. That Prabhupada was in Calcutta, some many years ago, and one of his disciples, Achyutananda, had an encounter with the gentleman who was at that point our landlord. We were renting that building which we now own on Albert Street in central Calcutta. So the landlord, his name was Mr. Roy. He was, as you tend to get, here and there in India, he was one of these sort of self-appointed philosophical authorities. And he confronted Achyutananda with his own theory about Radha and Krishna and Lord Caitanya and their relationships and, who's on what level. And he said that actually Lord Caitanya is the supreme and the original, and that Radha and Krishna come from Lord Caitanya, and Lord Caitanya is greater than Radha and Krishna and more important like that. And he gave an example, interesting example. Of course, you've all relished the feast already, but anyway, his example was that rasgulla is better than milk and sugar. What do you think of that? Anyway, that was his point. And Achyutananda had become confused, and as it happened, Srila Prabhupada was there at that time. I mean, not right on the spot there, but in our place. And so Achyutananda went back to Srila Prabhupada, and there was a few devotees with Prabhupada, and explained to Prabhupada about this encounter with the landlord. And he asked Prabhupada, Achyutananda asked Prabhupada, so, who is the original? And Srila Prabhupada, it's a straightforward point, really. Prabhupada replied that Radha and Krishna come first. And he said, same example. First you have milk and sugar. separately, and then you combine them. There's the cooking process. You combine them to form a rasgulla. So that's pretty logical, isn't it? That's a good explanation. But then Achyutananda, he wasn't satisfied, or, he was still a bit confused. So he asked, well, who is greater? And Srila Prabhupada paused momentarily, and as it happened, in Prabhupada's room there, in our ISKCON Calcutta place, had a picture on the wall somewhat similar to this picture just immediately in front of the altar, you see. And you see what's going on there. I assume you must do. It's been there since the temple opened. I'm sure you've looked at it. You don't just think it's part of the furniture. So Radharani is approaching. Krishna is on a lower level, and Krishna is preparing a garland for her. Krishna is serving Srimati Radharani. So Srila Prabhupada paused momentarily, and then, while looking at this picture, it was very, very similar to this, in principle particularly. And then he closed his eyes, and Prabhupada said, Srimati Radharani is the greatest. And he showed that, look, and you can see here, that there's Krishna on a lower level, and he's rendering service to Srimati Radharani. He is actually, can you see clearly enough, he's making a garland for Srimati Radharani. He's serving Srimati Radharani, trying to please her, satisfy her. Yes. So Srila Prabhupada pointed this picture and said, just see, Srimati Radharani is the greatest, because even Lord Krishna serves her. So, that was very nice, and sort of escaped any potential political sort of ideas that might have arisen about Lord Caitanya or Radha and Krishna, because we appreciate all of them so much. But this is a fact. Prabhupada pointed out Radharani is the greatest, and then Prabhupada said that the devotees are the greatest, and therefore Krishna becomes the servant of the devotees. So, but the relationship between Radha and Krishna, of course, it is multifaceted in the extreme, but certainly in many situations, Lord Krishna takes a humble position in front of Srimati Radharani, and he renders service to her. So any of you devotees, and it's particularly ladies, who are making garlands for Radha Radhanath, for the deities to wear, please know you are in good company with Krishna. Krishna is there, and he is a sort of an associate in service with you in your garland making service. And okay, let me go on to another little story. It's sort of a medium-sized story, which again, so many of you will have heard of, and you may forget it, have forgotten it from whenever was the previous time. This is an incident which occurred with a great devotee from long ago. Well, from before Lord Caitanya, actually, sometime before. named Jayadev Goswami. Jayadev Goswami, yes. I mean, he became Jayadev Goswami later, but at the time that this particular incident occurred, he was a householder living in Navadweep, Mayapur area, Champahati, if you're familiar with the Navadweep area, beautiful area. So he was writing one of his best known poems or songs. Well, it's a song really, called Gita Govinda. Perhaps you've heard of that. It's very famous Radha Krishna type of song. Very beautiful. So he was, as Prabhupada would say when Prabhupada was composing his books, Prabhupada would say sometimes that he would think deeply about every word. He didn't just sort of, have it pouring out, but he was really deeply focused and concentrated on presenting the most elevated and important subject matter in the most appropriate ways possible. So Jayadev was also in that type of mood when he was writing Gita Govinda, and there are various other songs that he wrote. He also wrote, we actually sing every day, even a few times a day, Tavakara Kamalavare Nakama Bhuta Shringam. You know that song, right? You must do. When we sing the Nrsingadev prayers at the end of the main artis. So he wrote that. Right, so he was writing away and concentrating and really thinking, and then suddenly something like a verse sort of just poured out of him. It just happened, and there it was, which was unusual. And the way the verse goes, it is Lord Krishna speaking to Srimati Radharani. Smaragarala Kandanam, Mama Shirasi Mandanam, Dehi Pada Palavam Udaram, which means is very deep, and very high level at the same time. So Krishna is speaking to Radharani in a mood of appreciation. The beautiful flower blossoms of your feet counteract the deadly poison of amorous love. They extinguish the terrifying fire of the pain of that love, which rages within my heart. Therefore, please be kind and allow your feet to decorate my head. Yes. So this is Krishna speaking, actually. So this just came before Jayadev even really thought about it so much. And when he sat back momentarily and looked at it and what the implications were, he became shocked. He became shocked because in those days, this is before the time of Lord Caitanya, who really expanded on the idea of Radha and Krishna and their interactions and pastimes together in so many ways. And in the days of Jayadev, such sort of extreme informality or even beyond informality was pretty much unknown. So he looked at this and thought, what happened to me? How could I have done that? But I did. And this is not right. It cannot be right. How could Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, feel that he would like the feet of one of his devotees on his head? Surely it should be the other way around. The devotee would like to have the Lord's lotus feet on his or her head. So he said to himself, or thought to himself, how can I commit such an idea to writing? How can I have the audacity to put such a thing in black and white? It is an offense. So what he did, he physically removed that verse, those 3 lines. He had written on some sort of like tree bark, something of that sort, which, has some thickness to it. It's not just like a typical page that you may type on or just scribble on something. He took a blade. He felt so strongly. He took a blade and actually cut it out physically from the piece of tree bark, feeling bad. And he did that, and he thought, okay, I've done the proper thing now. So what to do now? And he realized it was approaching time for lunch. And that place, Champahati, is not so far from the Ganges. In those days it was closer, maybe 100 meters or something, 150 meters, not far. So he thought, yes, I will go and take bath in the Ganges while his wife, Padmavati was the name of his wife, while she finishes cooking lunch. And then I'll come back, and then I'll have lunch. And to walk 10 minutes or whatever it may be, then take a full bath and change your clothes and put on tilak, etc., and then walk back maybe 10 minutes. The whole thing will take a good half hour or 40 minutes or something like that. So this is what he thought he would do. So off he went. And then, devotees, please listen carefully, otherwise you will get lost in the forests of Champahati, which, if you're going to get lost, it's a good place to get lost, but let's try and keep it together. So he left, and his wife Padmavati is expecting half an hour or a bit more, or something like that. But 5 minutes later, Jayadev returned. There was not enough time to have taken a bath, and it was clear he had not, because he was still dry. He used to keep long hair. His hair was dry. So he obviously hadn't had a bath. And so he came back and told Padmavati, I just thought of something I must include in the song, and I want to write it down immediately before I forget it. So he sat down by that same piece of tree bark and wrote where he had cut out that little verse. He wrote something. Padmavati didn't look to see, but he wrote something, and then off he went again. Well, no, he didn't, sorry. He sat down, wrote, took a couple of minutes, and then he said to Padmavati, I think what I'll do actually is I will take prasadam now. And she said, yes, it's ready, it's offered, it's all ready, so that's fine. So he sat down and took prasadam. And then he told her, okay, now I will go down to the river. and I'll take bath. So, devotees, are you with me? This is where, anyway, just hang in there, right? Fasten seatbelts. Within 5 minutes of leaving to go to the river to take bath, he returned wet and wet hair. But, we already mentioned, right? Half an hour or more to go down, take a bath, etc., and come back. And of course, Padmavati now is eating herself, because the tradition is, and still, some families observe the tradition, even here in South Africa, that the wife serves the other family members the prasadam, and when they're finished, she takes prasadam. So she had served her husband, and he had gone off to take a bath. Now she was sitting down eating prasadam, but 5 minutes after he had left, he returned wet. He had obviously just taken a bath, and it was more or less physically impossible to race down there, have the quickest bath in the world, and then race back within 5 minutes. So she was just sort of incredulous. What is really happening? And then on top of that, Jayadev, coming back still a bit wet, seeing her eating, Jayadev, what happened? He became angry. What are you doing? You're meant to serve me lunch first, then you eat. Are you with me? And she was just bewildered, and she said, look, you were just here a matter of minutes ago. You came, you said there was something you'd thought of for your writing, and you wanted to write it immediately before you forgot. And then you took lunch, I served you myself, and then you went to take a bath. But now you've come, and she was in a state of great confusion, as some of us may be also. What's going on? So she had mentioned that you were here and you said you had to write something down. So he went to see what was written down, apparently by me or someone who looked like me. And what did he see? Devotees, take a guess. Smara Garala Kandanam, Mama Shirasi Mandanam, Dehi Pada Palavam Udaram. Same verse, which he had rejected quite strongly. The beautiful flower blossoms of your feet counteract the deadly poison of amorous love. They extinguish the terrifying fire of the pain of that love which rages within my heart, means Krishna's heart. Yeah. Therefore, please be kind and allow your feet to decorate my head, your feet, Radharani, to decorate my feet, my head, Krishna's head. And when he saw that, he just couldn't believe it. And he called out to Padmavati, it is a miracle. Just see what I told you. I felt so bad about, and so I rejected it. But now somehow or other, mystically, magically, it has happened. That it's been written again. And he thought, and he thought. And then he understood that was Krishna, who assumed my form and came and wrote that verse in himself, celebrating his own position as a servant of Srimati Radharani. So he was ecstatic, and he told her that Krishna himself has come to you and written that line and accepted prasadam from your hand. So yes, that's celebrating Srimati Radharani and her amazing transcendental position, that even Krishna, there's so many, things going on in these pastimes. You can't stereotype them or sort of make them mechanical or something like that. But the thing is that Srimati Radharani is so deep that even Krishna becomes just overwhelmed, and he just cannot comprehend her and her feelings and her actions and her expressions of her devotion for him. And therefore, when Lord Krishna returned to Goloka Vrindavan 5,000 or so years ago, having had his pastimes here, which are recorded in our Srimad Bhagavatam, when Lord Krishna was there, back there, he was thinking of how it had been here, and the amazing pastimes he'd had with all of his amazing devotees. And he was thinking, one particular thought just struck him, and that was that even though I was enjoying so much, being served in these beautiful ways by all these wonderful devotees, but it seems to me that they were getting more enjoyment from serving me than I was getting from being served by them, although, Krishna thought, I was getting so much pleasure from being served by them, but they were getting more. And he thought of different individuals, particularly amongst the gopis, and how ecstatic they had been serving him in different ways. And someone he thought was getting twice as much pleasure as he was through serving him, which is a lot, isn't it? Twice as much. Someone else 10 times as much. That's a huge amount more pleasure from serving him than he was getting from being served by them. And then he just went deeper and deeper into this whole meditation, and someone 10 times, someone else 20 times, 50 times. This is really quite astronomical. And then 100 times. What about 1,000 times? It's just completely incomprehensible. Then he thought of Srimati Radharani. We thought of different of the gopis, 1,000 times, 10,000 times. He thought of Radharani, and it seemed to him that she was getting so much pleasure from serving him. She was enjoying a pleasure 10 million times more, which is just, only the Supreme Lord can comprehend that. So then Krishna made up his mind, right, I've had it. Enough of this being God. I'm going to become a devotee. But not just one of the devotees, from Chatsworth. Although that's not bad. It's pretty good, actually. But not just a sort of ordinary devotee. I'm going to take the position of Srimati Radharani. So then he appeared as Lord Caitanya. But in that regard, Caitanya Charitamrita describes that Lord Krishna, it wasn't just a matter of so many times more enjoyment. There were certain particular points which just fascinated him, and he just felt, I must understand these more clearly. There were particularly 3 points, and they're presented in Caitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila chapter 1, verse 6. I'll just read the translation. So, first of all, desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love. That's the first thing. Just the extent of it and the beauty of it and what is there within it. The glory of Radharani's love. And then, very interesting point, the wonderful qualities in him that she, but she alone, relishes through her love. Of course, all the devotees, they're appreciating different qualities of Krishna, which inspire them to serve him, and that's just the regular devotees. What to speak of like the gopis, the other gopis, and the other Brijbasis. So he was wondering, what is it about me which inspires her so much? Yes. And then the third thing, he wanted to understand the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love for her. Think about these things. These are very deep subjects. And these are the 3 like personal reasons why Lord Caitanya appeared. Of course, he appeared to give the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, the Sankirtan movement, to deliver the world and deliver the universe ultimately. That's sort of like the general reason for Lord Caitanya to appear. But then, of course, he is a person. Krishna consciousness is personal. It's not really impersonal practically in any way, hardly. It's more or less personal just all the way through when you look at it. So Krishna, he had his own personal reasons why he wanted to appear, and he really felt these things were very important to him. So, to just go through them again, to understand the glory of Radharani's love, how amazing is her love, the wonderful qualities in him which she alone relishes through her love, and then the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love for her. Yes. So the verse says, so then the Supreme Lord, Hari, Krishna, richly endowed with her emotions, appeared from the womb of Srimati Sachi Devi as the moon appeared from the ocean. So then he appeared as Lord Caitanya. But, we'll go more into these things on Gorpanima. How's that? So just stick with us. Then, okay, Well, I'm going to tell you now a couple of little pastimes. I don't know what Bhakti Brihad Bhagavat Maharaj was talking about earlier on, but at least myself here this morning and in Phoenix, I was more sort of focusing on points in principle and philosophical and so on like that, rather than getting into the pastimes, which sometimes can become a little sort of, what would you say, flippant or something like that, not really as deep as they really are. So there's a story. Now, I don't know if any of you have heard this story. Oh, you haven't? Okay. Well, that's good. You'll like it. So, there's a story. It's actually from Varshana. In Varshana, those of you who have been there or who know a bit about it, you'll know there's a place called Kutia. More meaning peacock. Kutia, in this context, meaning temple. It's up on top of a hill, and the hill just slopes down towards a kund where there's sitting places and sort of public place. Yeah, so anyway, one time Krishna and Radharani decided, let us have a competition. And Krishna said, I will take the form of a snake, and you take the form. Krishna took the form of a snake. Radharani took the form of a peacock. You with me? You heard the story before. Anyway, don't worry about it if you have. Prabhupada said repetition of a good thing is good. So then the competition was to catch one another. So Krishna in the form of a snake hid from Radharani as a peacock. And she searched and searched and searched. She just could not find Krishna in the form of the snake. And she became disappointed, being unable to find Krishna. So then Krishna, out of his mercy, he just came out from his hiding place and said, here I am. So Radharani, so to make sure that he didn't just run off again and disappear or hide in such a way she couldn't find him, Radharani grabbed Krishna in the form of a snake and just held on to him very strongly. And Krishna, of course, he wanted this because he relishes being held and embraced and so on by Srimati Radharani. So then Srimati Radharani said, all right, see, I have actually won the competition. You have lost. You thought you had won, but I have won because I've caught you. So what will you give me? You must give me a prize. And so Krishna said, all right, because she, Radharani, is in the form of the peacock. Krishna said, from now on, I will wear one of your feathers on my head. And this, they say, is, they say, the beginning of that practice of Krishna's. So yeah, from today on, I'll put one of your peacock feathers on my head. For 3 reasons. One is to show that you won the competition. Secondly, to show that I love you more than I love myself. And then thirdly, to show everyone that you, my dearest Radharani, represent the highest devotional service and the highest devotional mood towards me. So this is a little story I stumbled upon not long ago. Had you heard it? First time? Well, at least one person had not heard it before. Had you heard it before? Had you heard it before? You didn't? Okay, anyway, there you go. It's a nice story. Yeah, I quite like it. I think it's a very nice story. Because that place, Morkutir, is the place where, on another occasion, both Radha and Krishna took the forms of peacocks. And they both danced there on the hill as peacocks. And if you go into the temple on the top, they have a picture of that on their altar. So here we go, devotees. Last but not least, I'm going to tell you another pastime which you've probably heard of, right? You probably heard it. Yes. So one time, well, you know, Srimati Radharani, she has her different moods. It's all in the context of loving exchanges with Krishna, and that's all that it's about, ever. And it's all about enhancing the interactions and the relationship. But sometimes, in order to enhance, she has to do she feels she wants to do something which may appear negative. And so Krishna sometimes, he may, in a transcendental way, of course, feel a little upset by whatever Radharani has done. And he may feel like that for a while. I mean, some days or some period of time. So one time Krishna was feeling like that because Srimati Radharani had become angry with him. We call it the Sanskrit or the local form, the local term is man. Man means transcendental anger. So she was not speaking to him. So Krishna disguised himself, would you believe, devotees, as the daughter of a barber, a person who shaves people's heads, shaves men's heads, the daughter of a barber. And Krishna, in that disguise, came to Yavat. You have heard the story, haven't you? Do you want to tell the story? But actually, Srimati Radharani was missing Krishna so much. And Krishna was having pastimes over in Kokilavan, which is just a couple of kilometers away, if that. And the cuckoos from Kokilavan were coming over and telling Radharani in Yavat what wonderful things Krishna was doing. So she was missing Krishna very, very much. So then Lalita came in with this barber's daughter, who's Krishna, who looked like, can you imagine, I really doubt it, like a puppet made of butter. Some of these expressions and some of these literatures, they're just extra dimensional. You knew about that part. Yeah, right. With a gold sari on, completely covering her, except for her eyes. Just a little, opening there in the front for her eyes. But still, this Baba's daughter had a mystical effulgence like blue sapphires ground to a powder and mixed with musk. Have you seen something like that? You have? Wow. Okay, you're pretty advanced. You're beyond me. And this effulgence lit up the shadows of the courtyard. So Lalita, in a sort of straightforward, matter-of-fact way, said that, you know, I brought this girl to trim your, Srimati Radharani, your toenails and to paint your feet. And she's come just because she feels great love for you. And the girl, you know, this is Krishna, of course, but Krishna is the master of disguise, but not just of disguise, he's the master of different voices. So he spoke in this beautiful voice of a young girl, sort of teenage or late teenage girl. And she said that I've just come just because I want to render some service to you. So please do not reject me. But Radharani was so overwhelmed hearing the girl's voice. Radharani could hardly reply because, you know, she's close to Krishna and there's this energy emitting from Krishna. And she was becoming overpowered by it. She just managed to get out that if you can improve my foot lacquer, then please do so. Because you know, the ladies, so many of the ladies in India for that matter, but particularly around the Vrindavan area, they wear red around sort of the edges of their feet, sort of something like that, lacquer. And so this is what Krishna wanted to do. So then the girl, the Baba's daughter, our Krishna, our hero, took Srimati Radharani's lotus feet and started to study them. But then the girl, means Lord Krishna, started shaking uncontrollably, because this is what happens when he gets close to Radharani. And Radharani was wondering what has happened now, and asked her, are you sure you'll be able to do this? And the girl said, yes, I am determined. I will do my very best. So the girl rubbed and rubbed Srimati Radharani's feet about 10 times longer than they would normally rub them, till Radharani was asked, when are you going to put the lacquer on? But Krishna was just getting such a nectarian experience from touching her lotus feet. And while he or she was doing this, she, shall we say, was offering prayers to Radharani's feet and to the lacquer or the lac. Krishna, as the girl, was saying, "Oh lac, you are so fortunate, because now you are going to decorate the lotus feet of the Supreme Goddess, Srimati Radharani." And feet, addressing Radharani's feet, may you soon be merciful enough to place some of this lac on the head of Shamsundar, of Krishna. So, Radharani, so now, the Baba's daughter Krishna is putting the lac on and spending a long time and painting other things on. And Radharani insisted, you must show me my feet, show me what you've done. And she saw that on the feet, the Baba's daughter, who is Krishna, in case you forgot, that the Baba's daughter has written, Sham, Sham, Sham. And Radharani called out, what is this? And then the Baba's daughter took Radharani's feet and held them to her heart. And so Radharani understood, this is Krishna. What a clever fellow. And she was about to chastise him when what should happen? Are you ready? Jatila walked in. Jatila, the cranky mother-in-law of Srimati Radharani, the original prototype mother-in-law. Yes, so she walked in, and fortunately, Jatila is half blind, and she looked at Radharani's feet and said, well, you know, the lac around the edges is really nice. Well, what's she written here? I can't read it. What does it say? And Radharani said, oh, it's Ram, Ram, Ram. And Jatila said, well, you know, it's not nice to put the name of Lord Ram on your feet, but anyway, your feet have been done so nicely, so let's not worry about it too much. And then Jatila said to Srimati Radharani, this girl has done this decoration so nicely that I am ordering you as your superior. You must give this nice girl a big hug and a kiss. And Radharani hesitated. Do such things in front of Jatila is just unheard of. So they embraced. Radha and Krishna embraced. And as they're embracing, Radharani thought, how wonderful are these pastimes in Vrindavan. Now even Jatila, who cannot stand seeing Krishna come anywhere near me, is ordering me to embrace him. All glories to Sri Vrindavan Dham. Sri Vrindavan Dham ke. Srimati Radharani ke. Sri Radhashtami Mahotsava ke. Sri Sri Radha Radhanatha ke. Go Premanande. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So there you go, devotees. Just a few thoughts for you to carry with you. Yeah, carry them with you. And, you know, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur made the point, Madhavatiti Bhakati Janani. These festivals, these special, like scheduled, official occasions, big festivals, to do with Madhava, Krishna. Bhakati Janani, they are the mothers of our devotional mood. So we have to just let them enter our hearts. The philosophy, the different concepts and ideas, let them sort of cleanse our intelligences and help with our perspectives on Krishna consciousness. And the pastimes and the understandings, just helping us to appreciate Srimati Radharani more and more, and appreciate Lord Krishna more and more, and appreciate their relationships more and more. And if we do like that, if we really make a point of trying to do like that, then every time there's a festival, we'll come out at the end feeling some transformation, some positive development has taken place within our hearts. So, thank you for participating, and thank you for giving me your association. And all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
His Holiness Bhakti Caitanya Swami Maharaj ki jai. Thank you, Maharaj, for sharing with us such wonderful pastimes and stories, and for allowing us to have that opportunity to have these pastimes enter our hearts. Thank you, Maharaj. And for your warm and loving association on this most auspicious day of Sri Radhashtami Maha Mahotsav ki jai. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Just a few announcements before we carry on. But before we carry on, isn't it wonderful that we have darshan of their lordships in their third new outfits for today? Hari Bol! So just two quick announcements. First one, the festivities continue this Saturday at the Rath Yatra, which takes place in Verulam. So there will be a bus service leaving from the temple at 8:30. So Rath Yatra in Verulam this Saturday. Then the second announcement, a very exciting announcement, and that too so auspicious on today's Radhashtami festival. On your way out, you can see Bhakti Katha Mataji, and she can give you one of these pamphlets. Now, we all know this is the 40th anniversary of our temple, of Sri Sri Radharanath Temple. And for this, there's a very exciting project, a commemoration coin. And on this coin, the coin comes in bronze, silver, and gold. And on the coin is Sri Sri Radharanath, Srila Prabhupada, and the 40th anniversary emblem. And all of this comes packaged into a collector's box. So for the value of what you're getting, Sri Sri Radharanath, Srila Prabhupada, the 40th anniversary emblem, the price of this is extremely affordable. So isn't it wonderful that you're hearing about this on Radhashtami, and you can take advantage of this by chatting with Bhakti Katha Mataji, getting one of these, and booking your place. Be the first. Be the first to book this on Radhashtami to commemorate the 40th anniversary of our temple. So devotees, there will be now Maha cake and a hot drink that will be served in the Prasadam Maki at the bottom. Devotees, thank you very much for attending all the festivities of Sri Radhashtami today. Have a blissful and blessed week ahead. Hare Krishna.
Check. Hare Krishna. So let us thank all the Caitanyas from Johannesburg and Durban who gave us such a wonderful Kirtan festival. Hari Bol!